let's talk about books. Hi everyone, I'm Mary, and today I wanted to talk about the 23 books I more so need to read in 2023. So I have been putting together a list of books over the past week. Basically books that I own, because I'm trying to read more of the books that I already own at home. Books that have been on my TBR for years and I haven't read. Books that have been very, very hyped and I just haven't picked it up. And some books that are coming out this year, as well as just some fun books in there to kind of make it a little bit easier to actually read all of these books. I also tried making sure that none of these books are a part of the book clubs that I'm in this year, because that would be an easy way to actually finish all of them. But there are a couple of exceptions, and I'll talk more about them once we get to those books. I think this is about maybe 18 of them. Maybe less, I think less. I also printed all of the little book covers and I will be putting these in my reading journal for my 23 and 2023 spread. I will show you guys that once we're done. Here's my little list. So we'll just get started. No particular order. All of these I just want to have had read by the end of the year. So first, for a new release that I want to read this year is by Emily Henry. I think it's called Happy Place. It has a really bright pink cover. I've read all of Emily Henry's books, and no, I haven't read all of her books. I've read like her most popular books. So Beach Read, The People We Meet on Vacation, and Book Lovers. I gave Beach Read and The People We Meet on Vacation, I think, both 4 stars, and Book Lovers, I think I gave 3 stars. So I'm excited to read her new book. I've enjoyed all of them. Then we've got a couple like fantasy-esque type books. So the first one that I want to read is the second in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. So the second book is called The Ballad of Never After. I really am looking forward to reading this book. I'm surprised I don't even own it. I know I'm going to really like it. So I think I'm going to buy both of the first and second in this series. And I think it was just announced that a third book is going to be released. So that's exciting. So I really need to get to reading the second book. The next book I want to read is called A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. It's the second book in the A Touch of Darkness series, I think it's called. I listened to the audiobook of A Touch of Darkness, but I think I'm going to read the rest of the series either ebook or physical, just because it was a little bit to understand the world building through audio. But I really did enjoy the series, or at least the first book in the series, so I really want to continue on. The next book I want to read that I don't own is Heartless by Elsie Silver, and this is the second book in the Chestnut Springs series. I've been meaning to pick up the second book for a long time. I read the first one, I think, like early 2022. So I'm excited to continue the series. And I heard that the second book is like the best one. So I'm looking forward to reading it and picking it up. Next book that I want to read, and the last one that I do not own yet, is The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. If I said that right. This one is one of the exceptions. So it's in 2 book clubs that I'm following along this year. A Game of Tomes book club that's hosted by Carolyn Marie Reads and Emmy here on YouTube, and the what is it called? Hardcore Literature Club. Yes, that's one by Benjamin. I don't remember his last name. I will put it over here. But both of them have this in their book club for 2023. So the chances of me finishing this book is very high. But it was also highly recommended to me by my sister-in-law, Ashley, and so I'm excited to read it. Very known classic. Honestly, I don't even know what it's about, but I'm excited nonetheless. I guess we can move on to the books that I have over here that I already own. So starting up, we've got War and Peace by Mr. Leo Tolstoy. As you can see, oh, I guess you can't really see. I started it. I'm on page 40. I'm a little bit behind. I'm following along with Tipsy Tolstoy's War and Peace book club, I guess you could say, but I am about, I think, like 50 pages behind. I also have the Penguin cloth bound edition of War and Peace. This one is just so beautiful. I do not even want to read from it or touch it, but I own it. And it's funny, I actually have a third coming in the mail because when I started this, I did not like the translation. I'm kind of used to it now. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the third copy. I don't know if I'm going to return it. It is a really pretty cover though. I don't particularly love this cover. I really like the Oxford edition cover. So anyways, this is definitely one book that I want to read in 2023, and I will most definitely finish it. I hope. Since we're talking about classics, we can move on to the next 4 that I have here. So another book that I want to read in 2023 is Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes. Hopefully I said that right. And I have it in the, what is this edition called? The Pan Macmillan edition. And it's so beautiful. I love the look of these books. They are not very practical for annotating or reading because the pages are like as thin as a Bible. And like, if you can see that, very crispy too. But I will probably still read from this or buy like the Penguin Black Classic edition. This is another book that I have heard about for years and I've been wanting to read for years, and I've heard it's very, very funny. So I'm excited to read it. Also, it will count towards 2 of my goals, maybe 3. I don't know if this is translated. I think it is translated. So that's one goal I have. It's a classic and it's a big book. 3 for 1. The next book that I want to read is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I also already started this one. What page am I on? I don't think I did get far. 34. It was a part of my, I think, October TBR in 2022, but I just did not get to it. I had a hard time getting into it, so I put it down and I will pick it up again, hopefully during a time where I actually am interested in picking it up. But this is also the Pan Macmillan edition. The next classic I want to read, 1984 by George Orwell. I don't know how I haven't finished this. No, it was a part of a lot of people's high school reading, but I didn't have to read it in high school. I think I chose a different book to read. And it's just, I've had this for years, but I've never read it. So I'm looking forward to reading this. And then I have another small classic here, The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. It is a very, very small book. I have it in the Penguin Little Black Classics edition. I love these books. I have the first, I think, 80. This was also a part of my October TBR. I heard that it is a very like horrifying read, and it is something good to read in the fall time. So I will probably save this for the fall time. Another classic I have is Little Woman. I just have this collection, got as a gift, but the only one I want to read this year is Little Woman, if it will come out of here. So this is such a cute cover, but I have not read Little Woman, and I am someone that refuses to watch movies that are based on books before I read the book. So I have never watched a Little Woman either. So I'm really, really looking forward to reading this. I do have a secret challenge video type thing that I'm working on, and this is a part of it. So it will be read by 2023. The last 2 classics, I have a lot of classics on my TBR, but the last 2 classics that I want to read this year I have in the Penguin English Library collection. This is like a new collection that I'm starting to buy books in. I find that the Penguin English Library books are perfect for classics because they're so nice for annotating, so nice to read. They're very lightweight, very floppy, and the font is a good size. The margins are a pretty decent size. I just really enjoyed these editions, and they're pretty cheap actually compared to other editions of classics. But the first one we have is To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. I have Orlando by Virginia Woolf on my TBR this year for the Game of Tomes book club, but I've never read anything from Virginia Woolf, and I own To the Lighthouse, so I really want to read this one this year. And it's very short. How many? It's like 200 pages. The next one is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Another classic that is very known, but I've never read it, and I haven't watched any of the movies. I really want to, but I haven't. I won't until I finish this. But yeah, another one that I want to read this year. Okay, I think that's most of, if not all of the classics that I have on my TBR. The next one is most likely going to be a classic in like 100 years, but A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I also started this. What page am I on? I think I'm on page like 10. I'm on page 13. I think I read one chapter. I have tried picking up A Game of Thrones a couple of times now, and I'm just big book fear. Never finished it. But I will this year, 100%. I have, though, watched the first season of Game of Thrones when it first came out, so I don't really remember everything that happened, but I haven't continued the series. I probably won't until I read these books. I just realized I haven't been giving synopsis for any of these books. I guess it's just vibes. No synopsis, just vibes. The next few books I have here are pretty popular books since the past few years. And so they've been on my radar for a while, and I've just kind of been putting them off. So just like every other book in this video. But the next one is Call Me By Your Name. I've heard amazing things by this. I have watched spoilers about the movies. Like, I might have ruined this book for me, but it's okay. And I found this edition in a little library by me. I know it's like the movie cover, but that's fine. I usually don't like movie cover books, but it's a free book. What can you complain about? Heard really great things about this book. Looking forward to reading it. The next we have Kazuro Ishiguro's Never Let Me Go. Another classic, I would say. Like, everyone knows about this book. Mostly everyone loves it. So I'm looking forward to reading it. I think it came out as a show, not a movie. Either way, I haven't watched it yet. But I've heard amazing things about this author, about this book in general. And it was a part of my TBR last year, but I never got to it. So I'm hoping to prioritize it this year. I heard this is very heartbreaking. I love me a good heartbreak. Next book, like, out of all of these books on this list, this one 100% I'm reading this year. Us Against You by Frederick Bachman, because I am a stan for Frederick Bachman. This is the second book in the Beartown series. I have not been picking this up because I'm trying to, like, delay it. Because I just loved Beartown so much. I'm really looking forward to picking this one up. I will probably pick this up either end of this month or in February when it's still winter. I mean, it's winter in Canada until like April, but you know, in the thick of winter. Since it is a very wintry type novel, all about a town, small town, and about the hockey type cult they got going on. Really looking forward to this. The next book we have is Babel or Babel by R.F. Kuang. I have not read anything from her. I haven't read the Poppy War series, but I picked this up because it was kind of talked about everywhere a couple months ago. And I have not really gone in my dark academia era yet, so maybe this will kind of kickstart that era and I'll start reading The Secret History and all of that stuff if we were villains. But I'm really looking forward to reading this. It is a big book, so I have kind of been putting it off, but I am excited and I will hopefully like it, and then I'll probably pick up the Poppy War afterwards. But first, we read what we own. We're on to the last 5 books. So the next book I will probably read in October. Stephen King's The Shining. I have not yet read any Stephen King. I have put off reading Stephen King for years. I own, I think, about 4 of his books. My boyfriend bought me The Shining this year for my birthday, and I didn't pick it up. I'm an October baby, but I had a lot on my October TBR, so didn't pick it up, but it's definitely gonna be an October read. It's very shiny. But yeah, excited to see what the hype is for Stephen King. I'm sure I will enjoy his writing just like everyone else. And I've heard so many good things about his new release, Fairy Tale, I think was the book. The blue cover with like scaly cover. Anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about that. We're talking about The Shining here. This I will be reading in October. Next book I have is We Are All Made of Glue. This one my boyfriend got me for my birthday. I haven't heard basically anything about this book, but it is a Ukrainian author. I am Polish, so represents. Love this cover. I'm always staring at it on my bookshelf. I just have not picked it up yet. But I'm hoping I will be able to read it in 2023. I don't even know what it's about. I guess we will find out. The next book was also a gift by one of my close friends, and it's called House in the Sky. This one I also love the cover up. I've heard amazing things about this book. I just have not picked it up yet. I'm looking forward to reading it. I will see what kind of season this will fit in and then kind of fit it in appropriately. I find reading based on season really helps because I'm in different moods depending on the weather, and because in Canada we experience all the seasons, all the different kinds of weathers, I find I have to like space out my books based on how it is outside. So we'll see. This one kind of looks like a summer read, but I don't know. I don't think it is a very light read. So maybe not summer. The last 2 books I have are health related. I try reading about 1 nonfiction a month, and typically my nonfiction is more so about health rather than women's health specifically, rather than like finance or self-help and stuff like that. So the first one is the Period Repair Manual by Laura Britton. I've heard amazing things about this. I've actually owned this for a couple years now, but I've been going through other menstrual cycle type related books first. So this one is next up on the roster. I love the color too. Can it not be any more perfect? And the last book that I have here that I want to read in 2023 is the Book of Lymph by Lisa Levitt. I follow her on Instagram. I love her dry brushing tutorials. They're fantastic. So I bought this book when it first came out. I think this is a first edition actually. Yes, it is. Look at that. So really looking forward to reading this book and finding more ways to support my lymphatic system. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I was right. Okay, so 18 out of the 23 books I own, and the other, what is math, 5 books I do not own. I will either buy it, listen to it via audiobook, or read it on my Kobo. This is a very exciting reading year. I feel like I picked, even though there was a lot of classics, they all have kind of different moods. And then the ones that aren't classics, I tried doing a variation of different genres to kind of keep me interested and keeping me engaged and not getting me like kind of burnt out from reading. I have not yet read any of them, and I'm halfway through January, so I gotta start reading them ASAP. But let me know what you guys are wanting to read in 2023. If you've read any of these books, please let me know if you like them, what month you think I should read them in, or what season I should read them in. That would be very, very helpful. If I don't read all of them by the end of the year, what should be my consequence? I'm already doing a low buy book year, so I can't do that unless I do that again, but that would suck. Let me know. What should I do if I don't finish all of these books, or majority? Maybe like if I don't finish 20 of them, what should I do? I'm gonna add all these books to this spread and it'll look so nice and pretty once all the covers are put together. I'm excited. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next week. Happy reading! This is my other baby, Sugar!